Welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here with me today. I'm your host, and I have a story that's not just unusual, it's haunting, it's unsettling, and honestly, it really made me think about how well we ever truly know anyone. Sometimes life feels so stable, so full of routine and small comforts, that we miss the signals until they creep up and surround us. This story asks what happens when the familiar becomes strange, and the person you trust most reveals a side you never saw coming. So, let's get into it. Imagine spending 7 years with someone you love. 7 years of morning coffees before work, coming home after long hospital shifts, and the late night comfort of shared Netflix and leftover pizza. I mean, isn't that what we dream of when we think about partnerships? That cozy, steady rhythm where even the boring bits feel safe. Our main character, let's call him Aryan, is 30, and his girlfriend, let's call her Priya, is 28. Both work at the same hospital, which sounds stressful enough. Their lives intersect at odd hours. Sometimes he's coming home as she's leaving, or vice versa, but they always manage to find each other at the end of the day. Aryan supported Priya through 3 years of nursing school, and later, she returned the favor when he went for further studies. That sense of mutual investment, it's rare, and frankly, it builds a deep trust. Most people talk about sparks and butterflies, but for Aryan, it was the comfort and predictability he'd come to rely on. Knowing he'd find dinner on the stove, music in the living room, Priya's soft smile at the end of a rough day. There's stability in that, right? That's what makes the next part so jarring. About 4 weeks ago, that stability started to disappear. It began quietly, as these things often do. One night, Aryan came home after a long shift. He opened the door expecting the old warmth. Maybe the smell of food, a song on the radio. Instead, just silence. No music, no kitchen sounds, just the fridge humming and the floor creaking under his feet. Already, right? You can feel the unease. He called out for Priya. No answer. He felt this strange, rising worry and instinctively walked to the backyard. There, he saw her kneeling on the grass, head down, totally still. If you've ever seen someone so locked in their own world you almost hesitate to disturb them, yeah, it was like that. He moved closer and gently touched her shoulder. She finally looked up, tears in her eyes. But the strange thing, the thing that stuck, was what she was holding. A dead crow. Its chest slid open in her hands, blood on the grass. Aryan's breath caught. He'd seen wounds, sure, but never like this. Never at home. Never with Priya this way. Priya sobbed and said she found it injured, tried to save it, and when it died, her medical curiosity took over. She wanted to understand, to study its anatomy. Aryan wanted to believe her. They're both medical professionals, after all. But something in the way she looked at that bird, the mix of tears and fascination, it unsettled him. He tried to move on, kind of. Sometimes love encourages us to explain away the strange things, but that was just the start. 4 days later, another incident. Aryan came home and found Priya outside holding a dead squirrel. Same thing, little body, opened up, blood everywhere. She asked, "Can I put it in the bathtub with the crow?" He hesitated but relented. I mean, what do you even say to someone you trust? Part of him screamed that this wasn't normal, but another part, the loyal, loving part, told him to wait it out. Days passed. Then came a Yorkie puppy, hit by a car, dying in Priya's hands. And again, Priya opened it up after it passed. Then it happened with a neighborhood cat. Finally, one day, a stray dog appeared. Completely shaken, Aryan watched as Priya dragged its body across their driveway, her face vacant, her eyes wild. She told him flatly, put it in the bathtub with the others. Now the bathtub was basically a grave for 5 dead animals, each opened up, laid out in chilling stillness. You can just imagine walking in there, the smell, the silence, the way the air must feel heavier. But Aryan, still hanging on, thought maybe this was trauma from the job. He looked up strange medical coping habits online, even rationalized for a while. Here's where it really unravels. One night, Aryan woke up. He saw Priya kneeling over him, her face just inches away, eyes cold and vacant. He felt her fingernails slide slowly from under his jaw down to his stomach. A slow, almost studying movement, like she was learning or measuring. His breath froze. Honestly, who wouldn't freeze in that moment? Then, just as suddenly, she rolled away and fell back asleep. In the morning, Arian told her what happened. Priya laughed it off and said he was having nightmares from too many horror movies. Easy, right? But Arian wasn't so sure. His gut was screaming that it was real. For days, he barely slept, constantly watching Priya for signs of the woman he knew. Was this really the same person? The woman who cried during sad movies and held his hand when he was at his lowest? Colleagues began noticing. Aryan found himself staring at Priya over breakfast, searching for something, anything, human in her tired smile. Every visit to the bathroom meant staring down at those 5 dead animals. The trust, the comfort, the safety, gone. But even feeling all of that, Aryan didn't confront her directly. He was scared, to be honest. Scared to push her, scared she'd turn on him. So he did what any anxious, methodical person might do. He started keeping records. He snapped photos, videos, wrote notes of what happened and when. He even started talking to a therapist. Finally, Aryan decided he couldn't leave quietly. He called Priya's parents and her sister. Desperate, on the verge of breaking, he told them everything. They didn't believe him until he sent the photos. That's the turning point right there. The truth is powerful because even when it's horrifying, it can't be dismissed. That evening, when Priya came home, Aryan sat at the table, phone recording in his pocket. He said, "We need to talk about what's in the bathtub." She didn't deny it. Instead, she smirked. Aryan noticed this cold twist in her smile he'd never seen. She tried to brush it off, but the moment she realized her family was in the house, everything changed. Her parents, her sister, they walked into that bathroom and saw for themselves. The look on their faces, the shock, the disappointment, the horror. Priya screamed at Aryan to leave. He did. He left with nothing but his bag and his grief. In the aftermath, Priya was taken for psychiatric evaluation. Aryan heard she was starting to get treatment. The thing is, love doesn't vanish overnight. But fear, it changes everything. Aryan realized love isn't meant to survive that kind of darkness. The revenge, if you can call it that, didn't come with shouting or the police. It came with the truth, unvarnished and undeniable. Priya's secret life, her darkness, was out in the open. Maybe she wanted to hide it, but Aryan made sure the people who mattered knew. Sometimes the deepest betrayal isn't someone leaving you. It's when the person beside you turns into a stranger. The bravest thing Aryan learned is not the confrontation, not the exposure, but the simple act of walking away. That's the story. It makes you wonder. How well do we really know the people closest to us? And at what point does love stop being enough? Thanks for listening, and take care of yourselves and each other as best you can.